I'm going to do a quick little video here to show you how this whole thing comes together. This is something that I probably should have done a while back, but considering that the model was going to change a little bit, I decided to hold off, and I'm going to do this anyway. When you first get your jib, the first thing that you want to do is when you set up your tripod is to make sure that this is level right here. And then you're going to want to lock it so this does not move like this. So you lock it in place. You're going to want to be able to pivot like this but not tilt. The tilting is done with the jib over here. The panning is done with this. Okay, so once you have that locked up and level, then you're going to take your jib and attach the plate, or what in the industry they refer to as the shoe, attach that to the bottom of the jib. Now there are 3 holes here. One of them in the center is a 1/4 inch threaded hole, which is where you are going to thread the plate into. And then there's a little cleat hole for the little cleat that goes in there. So you're going to want to make sure that you use that cleat, because if you don't, then your jib is going to, when you try to pan, is going to move. So there's in there, the little cleat is in there. And now I tighten this up right here. I don't know how yours is. And hand tighten everything, because this is all aluminum, so you don't want to strip it. Now, what I did in the past is to actually get a separate plate. That way I don't have to be moving it back and forth. And I threaded it all the way through, and then added a nut right here, and made it that way it was nice and tight and it would never move. But I never took it off because I was using my jib all the time. So that may be a good idea for you to do. It makes it a lot faster for you when you are shooting, because you don't have to take your plate, take it off your camera, and then put it on here. Or sometimes, believe it or not, people forget these things. They get to the location and they don't have this. So anyway, once you attach this on there, then you are ready to go. You have a different tripod than I do, obviously, but you really have to make sure that you're on there securely. Now, once that's on here, as you can see, I'm sitting this down on something, so it's a good idea for you to have a table or a chair or something to sit it on. It makes it easier for you to install your camera. Now, you take your camera. This has 3 holes up here, by the way. I installed my camera to the back hole because the lens usually is front heavy, and so that helps when you're using your handle here to tilt the camera up and down like this. So anyway, you put your knob through there, and you attach your camera on there, just like that. Now what you're going to want to do is expand this out. If you see red right here, as you can see here, that means you're going too far. As soon as you see red, you need to stop. That's as far out as you can go. So I'm going to leave it right there, and I have a knob on this side that I'll show you that you tighten, but don't over tighten, just enough to keep this from moving back and forth. And now what you're going to want to do, I'm using a 7.5 inch weight. Now this does have Velcro here and right here. And so now you're going to put this on here. And as you can see, that's too much weight. So what I'm going to do is start out with something smaller. This is a 2.5. And I'm going to try another 2.5 that I have over here. And there you go. So you have 5 pounds, and that's a GH2. And that's a little heavy right here. So at this point, you're going to loosen this knob over here. And you can see it in the pictures. Loosen it up and just move it in a little bit until the jib is perfectly balanced. As you can see, when you let it go, it should stay right where you let it go. Once the motion starts, see, that's even a little heavier. See, it continues. So that means that I have to go in just a little bit more. It's still a little heavy. I think that's it right there. Yep, that's it right there. So anyway, another thing to keep in mind is when you adjust this like this, make sure that you don't end up like this. You can twist it a little bit, and it's a good idea to be vertical like this when you have your weight down there. That way it won't be twisting the jib like that. Okay, so this right here is to adjust the tension on this. This bolt right here is used. Now if you take this bolt out, you have to make sure that you hold on to your handle right here, because your camera is going to want to go forward. So you release, you take this out right here, and now you're able to tilt your camera like this. You don't want to leave this by itself once you take this bolt off, because the camera will go down like this. If you want to leave it like that, then that's fine. Your camera is heavier than mine, so you're going to feel a little bit more weight when you leave it like that. So anyway, if you want the camera to stay level at all times, then you insert that bolt back in there, which is going to be the case most of the time. And so now what happens, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this camera on. So now what happens is that camera, because this bolt is there, is holding that camera level. As you can see right there. Now, you're going to have to be careful that you don't move too fast, because then you get a lot of that shutter effect. So that's pretty much it. Went all the way around here. As you can see, this knob right here tightens the tension between these 2 points. That means that you can lock your jib in place, like let's say right there, and it'll stay right there. I went ahead and throw in a monitor bracket, just in appreciation of your purchase. When you're not using it, you tip the back, pivot it back down like this. And this is the knob that I was talking about that adjusts, that locks this in place. Once again, you don't have to over tighten it. Just nudge so this is now moving back and forth like that. Let me see, what else? If you want to get a real nice pan, I strongly suggest that you grab the tripod from the base like this and pivot around like this. It's actually even better with one hand, because sometimes when you do it with 2 hands, they fight each other. So let me see, me put it right there, and then you just very smoothly do your pan like that. I have the tendency to pan too fast, and at 24 frames or 30 frames per second, it just doesn't keep up. If you're panning with a subject, then it's different, but at that point the background becomes shuttery. Am I forgetting anything? If you want to use this upside down, so you're getting a real low shot, as you know, these cameras will invert the footage. You have a spot right here where you can have this right here. So you just take this off, put this all the way down, mount your camera upside down, and then you can get those real low to the ground shots. If you need to do that, that's the way to do it. That's why this is here. It has a bolt in there right now, but just take that out, put this one over here. When this is flipped upside down like that, reattach to this, you mount your camera, and like I said, your camera will flip the footage. Anything else? Let me see. I am shooting with all three cameras right now, so you can see this goes pretty high. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. When you want to take this apart, it's a good idea to have something to sit it on. Always bring this back in, like this. Now you can remove your weights, because now you have more weight in the front because the camera is there. And then you can start taking it apart. It's also a good idea. It's kind of hard to try to reach it like this. So you're going to want to do it like this. That's what I do. Oops, I even dropped that. So that's what you do. You set it back down, and you are ready to go. Just like this. Also, make sure you have this when you take it apart a little tight. You know, just like I said before. You don't want this to flip out. If you go like this and it's not a little tight, then it's going to come off like that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and package this up and ship it to you. And that's about it.